Hi everyone, welcome back to the bookshelf, or welcome if you're new. Today is a very special video brought to us by our special guest, Zachary. And also some new books that I got that we're going to be taking a look at. So let's get started. The first one I'm actually very excited about. You might have been able to tell by the thumbnail, but it is the novelization of the first season of Wednesday. I'm very excited about it. I watched the first season of Wednesday. Hello. Ow. I watched the first season of Wednesday a couple weeks ago, and I wanted to get the novelization before season 2 comes out in August. And if I'm being honest, it's one of my favorite shows. I love the fact that it's so dark and macabre, but it also has so much comedy between the characters. The dynamic between her and Enid, her and Xavier, her and Eugene is some of my favorites. And obviously, I was very sad about, what's his name? The coffee shop dude. That was very sad, of course, but the novelization is probably going to cover it really, really well, and I can't wait to read the descriptions about it. And I'm very excited. I wonder if there are illustrations. Maybe not. Probably not. There are no illustrations. But that's one of my favorites. And if you guys want me to cover, like, literary illusions with the Wednesday show, comment down below and give the video a thumbs up, and I'll make sure that I do that. And before we continue, I wanted to give a special hello to Zachary. That was his hello. If you heard a little snuffly noise, that's him. That's his way of saying hello. Want to say hello? No? You'll be at the bookshelf very often. This book is called Cozy, The British Art of Comfort by Laura Ware. Where? What do you think it is? He doesn't know either because he can't read. But it is basically about how to indulge yourself, be luxurious, be comfortable in a world that really values hustle culture, and just go, go, go. In finals week, for example, I was doing a test, I think, every day. And some of my professors, actually, their bright idea was to have exams early. So they thought that would mean, oh, you get done with class early. Not really, because that means you have exams for like 3 weeks. So, I was living my British university experience. I had like basically a month of exam preparation to do and exam completion. And I was not looking forward to that. And also, if you see me blinking a lot during this video, it's because I have severe eye irritation and a possible eye infection. But today was the day that I was supposed to film a YouTube video because it needs to go out tomorrow, Tuesday. And so we are filming and we are struggling through this together. So we're going to get through this. Read it during the fall when it was, prime cozy time. And the illustrations are just delicious. They're very cute, very homey. So one of my favorites, this is a Dear America book. In case you guys aren't familiar with the Dear America series, it's a series about diaries of young girls during pivotal points in American history. And it has like the Chicago Fire, the Titanic, all the wars. And so this is not about a war, but it's about the gold rush, and it takes place in California in the 1880s. It's one of my favorites. It's by Susan Patron, and a different author writes each one so they don't feel repetitive. I think Lois Lowry actually wrote one, which is just huge. I cannot believe that she wrote The Giver and also a Dear America book, because I never heard about like, oh, Lois Lowry wrote a Dear America book. So it's actually really magnificent to think that she managed to do both and just kind of escaped undercover with one of them, where I didn't even notice that it was her until I saw it on Amazon when I wanted to buy it. And unfortunately, I couldn't find it for less than $50, so the 3 Dear America books that we have in our little haul here do not include Lois Lowry, unfortunately. But this one is about a gold rush, and it has like a mystery in the town, those boom towns that would spring up in California, and suddenly a community would be thrown together. You had drama and intrigue and mystery, all of that really comes together in this book, which is why it's one of my favorites. The 1940s, it's about a girl whose father starts a church at a concentration camp for a Japanese concentration camp. And she's 14. Yes, 14. And she goes to live there with her father, and she gets uprooted from her original town, sort of a quiet suburbia atmosphere. And then she goes to live with him, and she forms a connection. She forms a friendship with a girl in the concentration camp, and then she also meets a guy in the concentration camp, which is very interesting because it's sort of a forbidden thing to do. And I remember reading this book late at night, and I cried because the characterization was just so good, and it was one of the most impactful books that I read in my early teenage years. It really put World War II into the perspective of a teenager and not just a chapter in my history book that I was going to be quizzed on next Thursday, you know? The last one is The Diary of Pringle Rose, about the Great Chicago Fire of 1871, in case you forgot your 8th grade history class. The mystery of her parents' death and less about a specific historical event. And something that I'd noticed about the Dear America series that I originally was kind of hesitant about was that there's a big emphasis on the love interest either dying or being the ones that kill people. And I didn't like that originally because it felt like a very repetitive pattern, but I also think that it's a way to get the romance happening and then out of the way so you can focus on the main character. I think it's kind of a convenient excuse, and it's kind of funny if you think about it. But it was definitely very disappointing when I kept reading every book and I would be like, oh, they're cute together, and then 50 pages later he's dead, or 50 pages later he killed their parents. It was a little bit disappointing for me when I really loved romance books and romance stories. But this book, I'm not going to tell you which avenue that one took, but I would definitely say to read it. The Great Chicago Fire was a very pivotal moment in city history. The architecture of the city was damaged thoroughly, and they really had to rebuild the culture as well as the places that burned down. And I think that especially after the Los Angeles fires that happened last year, or was it this year? Time is relative. But after the Los Angeles fires, I really feel like this story holds up as very timeless. And that's why it's one of my favorite books. And I ordered these all in the mail on Amazon, by the way. I don't know if I said that. But this is a little book haul that I got from Amazon. Instead of just stuffing them on my shelves, I wanted to share with you guys what I got while I am struggling with my eye. And then the last book that I got is called 84 Charing Crossing Road. And it was recommended to me as like for fans of the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society, which is one of my favorite movies on Netflix. And it stars the woman who was also in Downton Abbey, and that's one of my favorite shows. So I love that movie, and the book is amazing. And so when I saw this recommended on Jack Edwards' channel, I knew I had to get it. And, you know, we have very different tastes. He tends to prefer nonfiction, social commentary, whereas I sometimes like just more escapism fiction, more like charming and quirky stories. But when he recommended this, I knew that I would like it as well. So I wanted to make sure that I got that. And it's about a woman that buys a bookstore. And I'll just read you the back real quick. This charming classic, first published in 1970, brings together 20 years of correspondence between Helen Half, a freelance writer living in New York City, and a used book dealer in London. Through the years, though never meeting and separated both geographically and culturally, they share a winsome, sentimental friendship based on their mutual love for books. Their relationship, captured so acutely in these letters, is one that will grab your heart and refuse to let go. And I think that it's very cute that the back of the book is also written in like the typewriter font. I think that it really adds a lot of characterization, that the book doesn't seem like a modern cover. It definitely seems more vintage. And the New York Times actually said, 84 Charing Cross Road will beguile you and put you in tune with mankind. It will provide an emollient for the spirit and sheath for the exposed nerve. Because we all want a comforting book that we can read during the summertime. and this seems to be one of them. And it's sort of like You've Got Mail mixed with the Guernsey Literary and Potato Pie Society. So if you like 90s rom-coms and charming letters, this is definitely the book for you. I often babysit him while I'm filming, and lately he's gotten very curious about why I'm talking to a box that is my phone. So I wanted to bring him on so he would know what I do. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for coming back to the bookshelf to chat with me. And I'm on all the socials, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Goodreads, everywhere, TikTok. And the links will be in my description below and also in my bio. And I have exclusive content that's different on every platform, so you never miss anything. And it's some of my favorite stuff to create. I love making stuff that's different than just YouTube, even though YouTube is obviously where my heart and soul is at. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.